And there he is, Mr. Miles Tagtmeyer.
Hey, Bay, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, really well. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing good, but I'm not Emmy nominated, so I think you got me beat.
Yeah, maybe.
you inched me out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you got to be pretty. What are you more? Are you more shocked or excited by the whole Emmy nomination?
I think it's a mix of both. I think when we found out about this category, I mean, it gave us something to go for after we submitted our series, and then we really campaigned for it. And my director and co-executive producer Kylie Malesnik and I, we went to 55 for your consideration events in under 2 months, and we really just did a grassroots campaign. Okay, so let me go back. My director and co-executive producer Kylie Malesnik and I, we went to 55 for your consideration events in under 2 months, and we really just were spreading the word about Broken, and we were spreading the word about us and our series and what we were doing, and so that was the intention. But then, of course, when the submissions came out with the first round of voting in the short form category, there were a lot of named actors, and then there were also a lot of named series. And so our show kind of got lost in the shuffle, just amongst like Grey's Anatomy and The Walking Dead and James Corden. And so there were bigger things that just had more of a fan base. And
sure.
But we got 2 of our 3 nominations. We got 2 out of the 3. So we submitted for Outstanding Short Form Comedy Drama Series, which we did not get. But then the other 2 that we did get were Outstanding Actor in a Short Form Comedy or Drama Series, which is myself. And then we also got Outstanding Actress in a Short Form Comedy Drama Series with Lee Garlington. And we were the only short form series to receive 2 actor nominations in both actor and actress categories. So I think that says something. So people actually watched our stuff, and they actually recognized that we did good work. And that is amazing in itself, because now I finally understand what people say when they get up on stage and accept awards, and they always go, "Oh, thank you to the Academy." I didn't really understand what that meant, but I totally get it, and I am totally grateful for everyone that I met there who voted for us.
I think you really just, too, like really touched on where people, I don't think people realize, too, like how much work, not only, doing the role and the whole process of making the whatever it's a show or short form or movie, whatever a person's doing, but the whole campaigning for it too. Like people don't realize that's a whole part of it too.
Oh yeah, and I mean we're still going with that too. So it's a long time. We started this process back in May of 2017 with the ideas of creating our own content, doing something that was meaningful. And we settled on the topic of mental health and mental illness because they're 2 very different things, and the stigma surrounding it. And so we wanted to create a conversation, open the dialogue surrounding mental health. So that's when it started, and then we were in pre-production up through December, shot in January for 9 days, and then got it right in post in February, and then up online in April. But we started going to these FYC events, or for your consideration events, in early March. And they started very, very early this year. So before our series was even online, we were already out there. We were already talking to people. We didn't even have business cards. That's how long ago it was. Like, we didn't have time. And then, we just started. And then once it was online and once we got our business cards, that's when we were able to be like, oh, look at us. Like, now you can actually go watch it. But the process didn't end. That went from March through, I think it was June 12 around there is when voting started initially. And so then for the next 2 weeks, from June 12th to the 26th, let's say, that's when people voted for narrowing the pool down from all the submissions to the 5 or 6 potential nominees. And during that time period, we were still doing stuff. It was not until voting closed on June 26th that we could just take a breather, because then for 2 weeks until nominations were announced on July 12th, there was nothing to do. Voting was done. There's no more events. There's nothing you can do. Then nominations were announced on July 12th, And then it started all back up again. Then you're going to more events. You're going out and you're talking to people. You're reaching out on social media. You're trying to be relevant and remind them that you're still here. And now voting started just yesterday on Monday the 13th, and it goes for another 2 weeks. So I'm still not done. It's crazy. And then voting will go for another 2 weeks until August 27th. And then only then, after the 27th, is the campaigning process completely over. There is nothing more you can do. Votes are locked. And then I can just sit back and relax and enjoy it because I won't find out whether or not I won until September 8th. But it is a long process. So the whole campaigning process for Broken essentially was from March until August of this year.
Oh, yeah. Now, does that get in the way, like, from doing other projects then, because you're so wrapped up in all this whole process of campaigning?
Yes and no. So I believe if you're really passionate about something, you can make time for it and whatever else you want to do. And I'm passionate about acting. So acting has always been my number one priority, and whatever I can do to be doing that, I will do. And so Broken was important for us to just get awareness out there. We didn't spend a lot of money on marketing. In fact, we spent almost $0 on marketing because we realized that the ultimate form of marketing would be the Emmy nomination. And
right.
Whether we got 1, 2, or 3, that's when people start to take you seriously with what you've put out there. And especially with the topic like mental health and mental illness, that's not something people take lightly. So we did spend a lot of time going to FYC events. And when I say we went to 55, I mean it. We went to one every single night from Monday through Friday. We went to sometimes 2 or 3 on the weekends. And then sometimes there were events spread out throughout the weekdays as well. So some days we would be going to 2 or 3 events. And there were multiple happening at the same time. So I don't even know how many FYC events were available. We just had access to 55 based off of time constraints. But it was a full-time job, and that's what we treated it as.
That's amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah, so it didn't just happen. That's the thing. I mean, people think like, oh, wow, like it's so great. Like you guys got 2 out of 3 nominations. Wow, lucky you. It's like, well, no, it wasn't just luck. We really had to work for it, and we put the time and effort in. That's what it took.
So which was more of the actual work then? Was it actually doing the acting of this? I mean, and you did an amazing job as your character.
Thank
Lee.
you.
Or the campaigning. What's the bigger work process?
You know, I don't see acting as work. And I was the executive producer on this as well, and that was my first time doing that. That was the work for me because that was the first time I've ever been in that type of environment. But the acting part, that's just fun. That's second nature to me. I love it. And then as far as the campaigning and the networking and going to all these events, that was also kind of fun. And when I say we treat it like a full-time job, we treat it like a job. Then there were some days where it was like, oh, man, I don't want to go. I don't know if this event will be good. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. But then we just had to throw all that out the window and just say, I'm just going to go. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to, watch this event and then mingle and then just have no expectations. And that's really what got us through it because we met great people at every single event. But the times that we were like, we got to meet 5 people. We got to meet 5 new people. That's when it wasn't fun, and that's what made it seem like work.
But it does sound like a very exciting time, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The whole entire process, and even now, I mean, I'm still thrilled, and it's still surreal that for the rest of my life I can be called an Emmy-nominated actor. It's crazy. Like there are some celebrities who don't even have that title. So that to me is the coolest part of this whole process. So I think I've already won, but it'd be great to get a win because then I would be an Emmy award-winning actor. But just being an Emmy-nominated actor is a huge win for me.
Absolutely. Now, how about with the whole process of Broken? Like the one thing, like as I went through and watched it, being the fact that it's a short form story where episodes are, I guess, average like 6 to 8 minutes long. It seemed. You would think it's like kind of a small production, but it's really not. Like because when they roll the credits, it's like holy cow, there's a couple dozen people involved in this whole process.
Oh yeah, on any given day we had over 25 people on set, and we made it a point to compensate everybody, and that was very important for us. And a lot of them were doing favors for us already and working at significantly discounted rates because we wanted the best of the best, and we got them. And we shot it like a film. We shot it like an indie feature. And being able to pay everybody, except for me, I was actually the only person on set besides their unpaid volunteer PAs who did not receive any compensation, but I was totally willing to do it because this was my passion project. We shot 95% of the entire series in my director's dad's house in Norco, California. And inside of his house, we built one entire apartment, a studio apartment, and a therapist office. So we shot the bulk of the series for free in a location that we just had to get permits for. We didn't have to pay. We just gave them food. We gave her dad food and apologized profusely for disrupting their lives for a week. But then you're right. We did have a large crew because that's what it takes to create something to this caliber. And a lot of people didn't understand what we were doing before we started, when we were shooting, and then even after. And even now that we have the nominations, they still don't quite get what we did. A lot of people think that when they hear the term short-form series, it's a little web series that you shoot on your iPhone with your friends in your living room. And I'm not saying that that's bad. That's not what we were doing. I've done that before with friends. And if you want to create content just to get it out there, I'm a huge proponent of being proactive with your career. So go do it. Like, I've done it too. It's great. It's a great experience, and you don't know what could become of it. But this is not what we were doing. We were operating on a much larger scale because of what we were going for.
Hell, you guys even had craft services there.
Yeah, well, craft services was my mom. So we didn't have to pay craft services. It was just my mom making pancakes and eggs in the morning.
Oh, that's awesome. But it seems like your family was involved, because there was somebody else with your last name that was, I guess, co-producer with you?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So the way that we raised money for this was I first went through family and friends of family, and then I went through my extended network within LA, because I've been out in LA for about 8 years. And I called upon every favor that I could. And then it was actually, you're right, that's my dad, who is my co-executive producer. And he did a lot for me. And that's why I wanted to give him the title of executive producer, because he deserves it. And my parents are not artistically inclined at all, but they've always been so supportive of me in my career. It's very foreign to them. But now it's really cool because I'm bringing them to the Emmys. Like, it's so cool. Like, they're flying out here. I got them tickets, and I want them to experience this with me because, like, they were the ones who would wake up at, like, oh man, the butt crack of dawn back when I was like 5, 6, 7, going to play rehearsals and acting practice, and then they have to drive back and forth and pick me up for every show rehearsal. So I owe them. So this is the start of my redemption, or paying them back for everything that they had to put up with when I was younger.
That's awesome. Well, at least we know they're very supportive of you.
Oh, absolutely. It would be very difficult had my parents from a young age not been supportive, because when I first got into acting, I was 8 years old, and I just came home from school, and I walked up to them and said, I want to be an actor. Totally out of the blue. No one in my family is an actor, musician, singer, comedian. No one is. So they didn't know what to do with me. But luckily, I had a neighbor next door who was in the drama theater camp, and so they went to his parents, and then the parents gave them the information. They signed me up for a summer camp, like a drama thing, and then it was there that the drama coach came up to my parents and said, your child has it. He has it. And that confused them too, because of course we've all heard, like, oh, they have it, but what does it mean? Sure. And then he gave my parents a list of agencies, and in Minnesota, the rule at that time, I'm not sure if it's the same, is you can sign with all the agencies across the board, but whoever calls you first for an audition is the one who you have to go with. So right off the bat, I signed with all of them. I started to do commercials, industrial videos, little short films, feature films that they rolled through. I did some print ads, radio work, voiceover, and I was little, and I loved it, and it was a lot of fun. And I continued to do plays all throughout living in Minnesota. And then the only reason I stopped was I was 17, and I moved to California.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
So now, with Broken, the one thing too, I was curious, like with the episodes, like how did you release them? Did you like do like a weekly thing, or?
You know, we thought about that, but I believe that we live in an age now where people want to binge watch. They want to watch it whenever they can. They don't want to wait weekly. especially because we were not a well-known show. We didn't have recognizable names per se for the large masses. We did have Lee Garlington, who is known within the industry, and her face is recognizable, but people wouldn't necessarily know who she is based off of name alone. And then because we didn't have a studio or a network backing us too, it would be difficult to engage viewership over the course of weeks. So we released all 6 episodes all at once on Friday, April 13th, because Friday the 13th, that's fun. And we just promoted like that. And that actually helped us during the campaign process too, because we were able to talk to people saying, hey, go check out all 6 episodes right now.
Right. That's wild. Now, the character itself, I mean, like I said earlier, you did a tremendous job. Like, it's a very emotional character. Like, there was never, like, a downtime for your character at all. Like, there was always some type of roller coaster ride of emotions you were going through.
Yes. So Liam suffers from schizophrenia, and I had to do a lot of research on that because as an actor, the biggest fear that I have portraying someone with a mental illness is accurately portraying it. You don't want to make fun of it. You don't want to offend anybody. And so I did a lot of research with articles and reading things online and reading books and watching interviews with people who had schizophrenia. But the most helpful thing or most useful thing that as an actor was I listened to a lot of auditory hallucination schizophrenic simulations, and then I also watched a lot of visual schizophrenic hallucination videos on YouTube. And the auditory hallucination simulations were even more helpful than the visual ones because at the start of that simulation, they tell you to put your headphones in and then go about your business. Don't just sit down and listen to it. And so I did. I was in my apartment. I was doing laundry, cleaning, cooking, making food, and then I would just hear all these voices coming at me from all sides, and they were demeaning me. They were attacking me. They were calling me stupid or fat or ugly, and then some were just very robotic and counting. And it was disturbing, but it really got me into the mindset of Liam and how uncomfortable that is to be hearing those voices, because about 90% of Broken is in Liam's head. He's either hallucinating visually or he is hearing voices. So that really prepared me to portray someone accurately with schizophrenia.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
That wow. I can't even imagine.
It was a trip. There were some days I was not popular on set. We shot a lot of the very, very heavy, emotional, intense scenes all in one day. So for that day, I was in a constant state of just tears streaming down my face, snot coming out of my nose. I looked horrible. I'd be left alone in whatever room was available, whether it was a bathroom, a closet, a bedroom. The lights would be off. I'd be sitting on the floor, rocking back and forth, trying to maintain that state. My director would come in. She'd try to give me notes, and I would just be nodding along. And it wasn't until afterwards that she was like, "Man, I feel like I can't talk to you. Like I feel so bad. I just want to like hug you." But that made me laugh because it's like, what? I'm just like in the moment. It's totally fine. I'm not actually feeling that way.
Do you think this was the hardest role you've ever done?
I think it was the most challenging. I think this was the one I had to put the most research into. I played a blind character before, so I did the same thing. This was about a year ago, but I did a lot of research on someone who went blind later in life because, again, if you're an actor and you play a blind person, well, how did they become blind? Were they born with it? Were they afflicted later in life? And that influences the way someone acts and behaves. So depending on what character you're playing, there's a lot of research that goes into it. So I was prepared in that sense. But as far as the emotional toll that was taken out on Liam, yes, this was the most intense process and role that I've done.
Now, how hard was it to, like you were saying, like you'd have to like kind of stay in character, like you're in the room and you're rocking to keep yourself there. Like, how hard was it to turn it off when you were finally able to turn it off for the day?
Oh, I can turn it off. It was a little awkward, or felt a little weird within the first hour of rapping for the day. But then after that, your body just goes into almost like shock, where it's like, holy crap, I've been crying and sobbing all day, but there's nothing left that you can do. And then that's where you just got to laugh about it. But there would be times where after we wrapped, I thought I was totally fine walking around, and someone would come up to me and be like, whoa, dude, are you okay? Because I guess I still looked upset or pissed or sad or something.
Well, that all goes to the credit of the Emmy-nominated actor you are now.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? It's so cool.
That is awesome. So, all right, so where, let's put some plugs out there for you. Where can everybody find you and like you, love you,
Absolutely.
follow you, and where can they find
That
Broken?
would be great. So Broken is online. It is on our personal website and also Vimeo. The link to our website is www.brokentheseries.com. And then I am across all platforms, social media-wise, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It is at Miles Tagtmeyer. And Tagtmeyer has a silent T. So it's MILESTAGTMEYER.
Awesome. Well, Miles, thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations again, and I hope you bring that Emmy home.
Thank you so much, Bay. It was really fun talking to you.
You too, absolutely, man, and I enjoyed the series.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me when someone says that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
You too. Bye.